Welcome, everyone. Ready for another deep dive? Today, we're taking on AI.
Sounds like a big one.
It is. We've got a ton of research here covering everything from surveillance and jobs to, get this, AI in warfare.
I think it's safe to say AI is touching pretty much every aspect of our lives now. And, not always in ways we expect.
Right. Like one article mentioned, the city testing AI-powered cameras. They can actually recognize faces, even predict crime.
Yeah, I saw that one. It's fascinating, but also a little, unsettling.
Total Minority Report vibes.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe it could actually make things safer.
That's what proponents argue. In fact, some studies suggest AI surveillance could lower street crime by something like 20%.
Wow, 20%? That's huge. But what about, like, privacy and bias?
Exactly. That's the flip side. If the data used to train the AI is already biased, the system will be too.
So we'd just be trading human bias for algorithm bias.
Basically. And algorithmic bias can be way harder to spot, let alone fix.
Makes you think,
Mm-hmm.
Constantly being watched and judged by some algorithm we don't even understand.
It's a valid concern. That's why some experts are pushing for things like strict data regulations or even giving people control over their own data, opting in or out of surveillance.
Makes sense to me. Transparency is key, right? Got to know how our information is being used.
Absolutely.
Okay, so another big one, right? AI and jobs. I mean, we've all heard the robots are coming for our jobs, right?
Right, but it's more complicated than that, I think.
I mean, one article talked about this AI startup claiming their tech could automate like half of all customer service jobs.
Yeah, the potential for job displacement is real. We can't ignore that.
Seriously, half. That's a lot of people.
But those same sources also talked about AI creating new jobs, new opportunities. Think about it. As AI takes over the repetitive stuff, it frees us up to focus on, more creative, more human things.
So it's not just about replacing us,
Mhm.
but working with us.
Exactly, augmenting our abilities. Some futurists even think AI could lead to work being more meaningful, more fulfilling.
That'd be nice.
Huh.
But still, a lot of people will need to transition to these new jobs, right?
Right, and that's where things like, universal basic income and retraining programs come in. Huge debates there, of course.
Big time. Some people say UBI would kill innovation. Others say it's essential for a future where traditional jobs just disappear.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there. But moving on to maybe the most intense area, AI in warfare.
Yeah, now we're getting into some serious sci-fi territory.
AI-controlled drones making life-or-death decisions without human intervention. That's some scary stuff.
It really highlights that whole great power, great responsibility thing, doesn't it?
Big time. But the research did show both sides. I mean, some people argue AI could make warfare more precise, actually save lives, fewer civilian casualties, less risk to soldiers.
And potentially even deter wars, right? Make the costs of conflict too high.
Makes sense. But then there's the control issue. What if something goes wrong? What if the AI gets hacked?
Yeah, the unintended consequences could be catastrophic. Not to mention the ethical questions about giving machines the power to kill.
Right. Can we really just hand over that responsibility? It's heavy stuff.
It is. Some experts are even calling for a total ban on autonomous weapons. Others want strict human oversight of any military AI.
Seems like a global discussion is needed, and fast. We're talking about the future of warfare here. Maybe even the future of humanity.
Couldn't agree more. These aren't easy conversations to have, but they're absolutely essential.
So, with all that said, where do you land on all of this?
I'm honestly struck by just how big the impact of AI is going to be. It's not just some new technology, it's reshaping the world in every way.
It's a lot to take in, yeah. Exciting, but also kind of scary.
Definitely both. But, the good news is we're not just bystanders here. We have a say in how this all plays out.
That's true. The more we understand about AI, the better choices we can make about its role in our lives.
Exactly. So let's keep digging, shall we?
Absolutely. Coming up in part 2, we'll be looking at some of the solutions and innovations tackling these AI challenges. Stay tuned.
It's kind of amazing, right? AI forcing us to confront these huge ethical dilemmas. But it's not all doom and gloom. There's actually a lot of cool stuff happening, people trying to make sure we use this tech responsibly.
Okay, good, because I was starting to get a little freaked out. So what are we talking about? What are people doing?
Well, one thing that's really taking off is bias detection tools. Basically, using AI to, audit other AI systems for bias.
So fighting fire with fire.
Kind of, yeah. It's pretty clever, actually. Say you've got an AI doing loan approvals, right? If the data it learned from was biased against certain groups, well, the AI will be biased too. A bias detection tool could catch that, flag it for the developers.
That's awesome. So it could help make sure things like loan approvals are actually fair.
Yeah, the goal is to promote fairness and equity in all these different AI applications.
How do they actually, like, work? How do they find the bias?
There are a few ways. One that's mentioned a lot is adversarial debiasing. You basically have two AIs battling it out. One tries to predict stuff, and the other tries to find bias in those predictions.
Whoa, that's wild. So they kind of keep each other in check.
Exactly. And by constantly competing, they can make the system less biased over time.
Almost like giving the AI a conscience or something.
Yeah, kind of. Another big area is what they call explainable AI. XAI for short. The idea is to make AI's decision-making process more transparent.
Yeah, because right now it's kind of a black box, right? Data in, answer out, who knows what happens in between.
Exactly. And that lack of transparency makes it hard to trust AI, hard to hold it accountable. So XAI is all about creating AIs that can explain themselves, in a way that humans can understand.
So like if an AI is diagnosing a medical condition, it could actually tell you why it thinks that, not just give you the diagnosis.
Right. It could point out the factors it considered, the level of confidence in its assessment, all that.
That would be huge, not just for patients, but also for doctors. They got to be able to trust the AI's recommendations.
Absolutely. Transparency builds trust. But even with all that, we still need rules, regulations.
That's where global cooperation comes in, right?
Yeah.
A bunch of the sources were talking about the need for international agreements on AI.
Yeah, because AI is a global thing. It affects everyone, everywhere. We need a common framework, make sure AI is developed and used responsibly no matter where it comes from.
Makes sense. We don't want one country running off and doing whatever they want with AI while everyone else is left behind.
Right. It could create some really dangerous imbalances. So these international collaborations are trying to hammer out some basic ground rules.
Like what? What kind of things are they focusing on?
Well, for one, developing ethical guidelines for AI. Basically, a set of principles to make sure AI aligns with human values, promotes the well-being of society.
So kind of like a moral compass for AI.
That's a good way to put it. They're also working on standards and best practices for development, things like data privacy protocols, security measures against hacking, ways to monitor AI systems to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing.
It sounds like they're trying to create a safety net, to catch any potential problems before they blow up.
Exactly. And there are already some really interesting initiatives out there. One example is the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, or GPAI. It's a big international group working on everything from bias detection to AI guidelines for healthcare and education.
Wow, so there's already a lot happening on the global stage.
Yeah, definitely. But even with all that, individual people still need to be informed. They got to be able to engage with AI and make their own decisions about how they want it to be used.
Absolutely. It's easy to feel powerless, like this stuff is just happening to us. What can regular people actually do to stay informed?
There are tons of resources out there, online courses, articles, podcasts, even documentaries. Just taking some time to learn the basics can help people understand how AI is going to impact their lives.
Yeah, knowledge is power, right? The more we understand about AI, the less scary it becomes.
Totally. And it's not just about technical stuff either. It's about the ethical side, the societal impact. We need to be thinking critically about AI, not just blindly accepting it.
Ask questions, challenge assumptions, have those tough conversations.
Exactly. The future of AI is not set in stone. We're all creating it right now through our choices and actions.
It's a wild time to be alive, that's for sure. We're literally witnessing a technological revolution unfold.
We are. And now, in part 3, we're going to shift gears a bit and talk about the amazing potential of AI to solve some of the world's biggest problems.
Okay, yeah, let's get to that. We've talked a lot about the risks, but AI can do a lot of good too, right?
Absolutely. It's already being used to tackle things like healthcare, education, climate change, even poverty. And as AI gets more powerful, that potential for good will only grow.
Okay, so let's get into it. Where are we seeing AI being used to, actually make a difference?
Well, healthcare is huge. AI is being used to develop all sorts of new diagnostic tools. Imagine being able to detect diseases, even something like cancer, much earlier and way more accurately than we can now.
That would be game-changing, seriously. Early detection is everything.
Exactly. And it's not just about diagnosis. AI can also help create personalized treatment plans, tailored to each patient's specific genes and medical history.
So moving towards a more preventative and personalized approach to healthcare.
Right. It could totally revolutionize how we think about medicine. And then there's education. Imagine AI creating custom learning experiences for every student, adapting to their individual needs and how they learn best.
It's like everyone gets their own personal tutor.
Pretty much. It could be a game changer for students who struggle in, traditional classrooms. And think about the implications for students in underserved communities,
Hmm.
those who might not have access to the best teachers or resources.
Yeah, it could really level the playing field.
Yeah.
So exciting to think about. What else? What other areas are you really optimistic about?
Climate change is a big one. AI is already being used to track deforestation, monitor carbon emissions, even develop more efficient renewable energy sources.
Wow, so AI could be a key part of fighting climate change.
Absolutely. Some researchers are even looking at how AI can help us design more sustainable cities, better transportation systems. The possibilities are huge.
It sounds like AI could be the tool we need to, create a more sustainable future. Is there anything AI can't do?
Well, it's important to remember AI is a tool, a powerful one, but still a tool. It's not a magic solution to every problem.
Right, we can't just sit back and expect AI to fix everything.
Exactly. We still need human creativity, ingenuity, compassion, all of that. AI can help us amplify our efforts, but it can't replace us entirely.
So it's all about finding that balance, right? Using AI for good, but not relying on it completely.
I think that's a good way to put it. We need to be both excited about the potential of AI and cautious about its risks.
Embrace the good, but keep an eye on the not so good.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tightrope walk, for sure. But it's a conversation we need to be having as individuals, as a society. The future of AI isn't some predetermined thing. It's something we're all creating together.
Well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of AI, what's the takeaway? What should people be thinking about?
I think the biggest thing is this. AI is powerful, and its impact is only going to grow. But it's not some force outside of our control. We get to decide how AI is used, how it shapes our lives, our world.
So we need to stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay hopeful.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this journey, everyone. We hope you learned something new and feel inspired to keep exploring the incredible world of AI.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one shaping the future of AI.
Thanks for listening.